Now we go into the Lords of War. This doesn't have it in this codex, so I'll put that one down. Tell us about the Lords of War.
No.
Please.
Okay. Tesseract Vault.
It's a big, huge monolith with a Tesseract Satan inside.
550 points.
That's huge.
Its ballistic skill is 4. Its front armor is 14. Side armor is 14. Rear armor is 14. The whole points is 9. It's a super heavy vehicle. It's a skimmer. 4 Tesla spheres.
Okay.
Powers of the Cetan. The bound something.
Good reading.
Yes. When a Tesseract Vault uses powers of the Cetan, measure line of sight and distance from the Cetan itself and resolve at ballistic skill 5. Okay. Vengeance of the Unchained. When a Tesseract Vault loses its last hull point, it also always suffers a titanic explosion. There is no need to roll on the catastrophic table.
Okay. Fair enough. That's pretty epic, but is it gonna die? Maybe. $550 points, that's going more towards an apocalypse game, I'd say. But in a 2,000 point game, that's a quarter of your points gone into that one thing. 9 whole points. That's just crazy.
Then you've got a 24-inch range with the Tesla spheres.
Yeah, but
the strength 7, AP dash, the heavy 5 Tesla. You putting them back on?
I might be. It's a good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I wouldn't.
If you've got the money, you could buy it, but you wouldn't spend that much money on it and not play it because they are quite expensive.
Obelisk. So this is exactly the same-ish, maybe, just closed. This is 300 points, so effectively it's 300 points for the big monolith obelisk thing.
Okay.
And then 250 for the Cetan inside.
Okay. That's not bad. For how many points is around the same price as...
It's only got 6 whole points.
Same price as a Wraith Knight.
Gravity Pulse. All enemy flyer, skimmer, jetpike, flying monstrous creatures treat all terrain within 18 inches of the obelisk, including open ground, as dangerous terrain. Zooming flyers and swooping monstrous creatures must also take dangerous terrain tests if they move within 18 inches of the obelisk, even though they do not normally take dangerous terrain tests. Sleeping Sentry. When you deploy the obelisk, you can choose whether it is powered up or powered down.
Okay.
If it is powered up, it follows the normal vehicle of its type, which is a vehicle super heavy skimmer. If it is powered down, it may not move or shoot, but it has a 3+ invulnerable save. You can choose to power up the obelisk at the start of any of your movement phases. An obelisk that arrives by deep strike is automatically considered powered up. Once powered up, an obelisk cannot power down. Power down.
Oh my god.
Well, that's quite cool. I kind of like the obelisk. I like the obelisk better than I like the vault.
Okay. Another Lord of War who was a HQ previously.
Imitek the Stormlord.
He was 225 points.
He's 190.
I think that's fairly well pointed.
That's what I think.
Okay. And what was his stats?
Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 5, toughness 5, wounds 3, initiative 2, attacks 3, leadership 10, armor save of a 2 up.
You've gone up by weapon skill and ballistic skill, but that's standard with Overlords.
And all of the Necrons, apart from warriors.
And
Storm of the Lord. I've changed that. Lord of the Storm. If your army includes Imitech the Stormlord, the Night Fighting Special Rule is always in effect during the first game turn. In addition, once per game, at the start of any friendly shooting phase, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 48 inches of Imitech. On a 5+, that unit suffers d6 strength 6 AP dash hits. These hits are randomly allocated. Bloodswarm Nano Scarabs. If your army includes Imitech and Stormlord, friendly units of flayed ones can re-roll the scatter dice when arriving from Deep Strike Reserve. Meh.
Wow. It's alright. Right, so you talk about a few of the detachments then, or formations I should say. I'll be back in a minute.
So, the first formation is the Reclamation Legion. This comprises of an Overlord, up to 2 units of Leech Guards, 1 to 4 units of Immortals, 2 to 8 units of Warriors, 1 to 3 units of Toonblades, and 0 to 3 Monoliths. Special rules: move through cover, relentless, and enhanced reanimation protocols. You can re-roll reanimation protocols of 1 for the Overlord from this formation, or if you replace the Overlord, and units from this formation that are within 12 inches of him. So re-roll your Feel No Pain. That's alright. It's alright. It's not amazing.
No.
You basically, all of that, you just get to re-roll
No.
reanimation protocols.
Alright.
Judicator Battalion. This is 1 unit of Triarch Stalkers, 2 units of Praetorians.
You would probably be taking that anyway, so that's okay.
Target designated.
Yeah, designated.
I can't speak.
Target designated at the start
Of the controlling player's shooting phases, nominate 1 enemy unit within line of sight of the Triarch Stalker from this formation. All units from this formation can re-roll fail to hit, to wound, and armor penetration rolls against the nominated unit at the end of the phase.
See, that's
until the end of the phase.
That's good because you're probably going to be taking.
Yeah, you could. You could get them in.
So you get a free buff essentially because those units are great.
Destroyer Cult.
Dun, 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 dun.
Right, formation. 1 Destroyer Lord, 3 units of destroyers, 0 to 1 units of heavy destroyers. Restrictions: each unit of destroyers must consist of at least 3 models. They have the move through cover, the fearsome ruler. If this formation is chosen as your primary detachment, you can re-roll the result when rolling on the warlord traits. Extermination protocols. All units in this formation re-roll fail to wound rolls and armor penetration rolls in the shooting phase. If you were going to take destroyers, why not?
Yeah, another good buff.
Deathbringer Flight. 2 to 4 Doom Scythes.
Yeah, again, probably easy to do.
Amalgamation targeting data. When a Doom Scythe from this formation fires its death ray at enemy unit, add 2 to its ballistic skill for each other Doom Scythe from this formation that has shot at the same enemy unit this turn. So the first one you're shooting normally, the second one you're shooting with a +2 ballistic skill. The third one, if you shoot with the third one, you're shooting with a +4 ballistic skill. And Wailing Cacophony.
Oh, sorry, once more.
Wailing Cacophony.
I didn't quite hear that again.
Wailing Cacophony. All enemy units within 12 inches of at least 2 Doom Scythes from this formation have -1 leadership.
Okay.
Living Tomb. 1 obelisk, up to 2 monoliths.
That's a lot of points.
But you don't have to take monoliths.
So
you can just have an obelisk.
And what?
Precision arrival. All units in this formation must be placed into Deep Strike Reserve. Do not make reserve rolls for the obelisk from this formation. It will automatically arrive on the player's second turn. Monoliths from this formation do not scatter if they're placed within 12 inches of the obelisk. Tomb Nexus. Immediately after a monolith from this formation arrives from Deep Strike Reserve, you can choose 1 friendly unit with the Necron faction, consisting entirely of models either infantry or jump, that is in reserves, or ongoing reserves. The chosen unit is placed as if it were disembarking from the monolith's Eternity Gate. Any models that cannot be placed are removed as casualties, but the unit is otherwise treated exactly as if it were disembarking from a transportation vehicle.
Okay.
Okay.
There are a
Annihilation.
lot of these.
Yes.
Wow.
Annihilation Nexus. 1 Doomsday Ark, 2 Annihilation Barges. Quantum Deflection. If a Doomsday Ark from this formation's quantum shielding is deactivated at the start of any of the controlling player's movement phases, you can nominate an Annihilation Barge from this formation within 6 inches that has active quantum shielding. That Annihilation Barge is immediately deactivated and the Doomsday Ark is reactivated, basically taking their quantum shielding away. No, because you wouldn't really take Annihilation Barges.
Less apocalypse.
This is
huge. You would take this one.
Canoptech Harvest. 1 spider, 1 unit of wraiths, 1 unit of scarabs. You get move through cover and relentless special rules. Adaptive subroutines. I don't know what's going on with my mouth today. At the start of each of the controlling player's movement phases, choose one of the following special rules. Fleet, Reanimation Protocols, Shred.
Shred is good.
So is Reanimation Protocols on Canoptech.
Oh, yeah. That's huge. And what did you say? They get relentless.
They get relentless and move through cover.
And they can have an upgraded weapon, the Wraiths, can't they? Which is hugely destructive. Oh, that failed. Yeah, that's amazing.
That's good. I like that. Royal Court. Obviously, Royal Courts used to be a thing on their own in the last codex. Now, you have to have an Overlord, you have to have 1 to 3 Lords, and you have to have 1 to 3 Cryptex.
Okay. It's okay.
And you can put in some of the other stuff. Wisdom of the Aeons. If the Overlord from this formation or model taking the place of the Overlord is chosen as your Warlord, you may re-roll the result when rolling Warlord traits. That's great.
Upgrade.
That's- What a rubbish way to end the codex. Royal
Can
call.
I have a quick look-see?
No.
Okay. Please.
So before you have a quick look-see, shall we go through the warlord traits?
Yeah, go through the warlord traits.
Enduring will.
Carry on.
Your warlord has the Eternal Warrior. Eternal Madness. Your warlord has the Zealot.
It's madness!
Immortal Hubris. Your warlord and all friendly units within the Necron faction. Within 12 inches of him, reroll all failed morale, getting a fear test. Hypological Strategist. Whilst your warlord is alive, you may add or subtract 1 from any of your reserve rolls and rolls to seize the initiative. Implacable Conqueror.
In
Warlord. What?
In what?
Implacable Conqueror.
That's a different word that you just said.
I know.
In what?
Your warlord and all friendly units with the Necrons faction within 12 inches of him have the Relentless and Crusader special rules. Honourable Combatant.
Combatant.
Your warlord must always issue or accept a challenge if able to do so. If rerolls all failed to hit rolls when fighting in a challenge, no friendly character other than Valgard Oberon can attempt a glorious intervention in a challenging involving the warlord. If an enemy refuses a challenge issued by the warlord gains the hatred special rule for the remainder of the game.
I hate you!
So, thoughts on this codex from you? What's your thoughts?
I'm taking a minute. One thing we haven't talked about. Wherever it was.
Skyrockets.
It was somewhere here.
I don't know what you're looking for.
That formation-y thing.
Which formation you think?
The formation-y thing.
Formations are in the back.
You're a formation in the back. What are your thoughts on the codex? Well, I try and find something that may have made up.
They were already strong, they've just made them a tiny bit stronger. I don't.
Isn't that a good thing?
No.
Why not? What's so bad about it?
Because no matter what you do, they're going to be powerful. Like, that's not how life works. I mean, okay, they're Necrons and they're supposed to be, like, under the sea.
No, they're not under the thing.
Under the sea.
Here we are.
Life is much better.
Reclamation Legion. How you can construct your army. So a Reclamation Legion is 1+, so you can have more than one. There's an Overlord, 0 to 2 units of Lich Guard, 1 to 4 units of Immortals, 2 to 8 units of Necron Warriors, 1 to 3 units of Tomb Blades, 0 to 3 units of Monoliths. I'm sure you get special stuff. You can have a Star God one where it's Citan Shard, any of the shards added onto it, and it's a confusing / interesting way to create an army. You can have your commands, your cores, different cults, and different ways to do it. And the benefits are you get +1 to your reanimation protocols if you do it this way. So your entire army, if built in this reclamation or whatever malarkey,
How much is that entire army?
it's not an entire army, you just build your army. So the Reclamation Legion is an Overlord, possibly Lich Guard if you want, 1 to 4 Immortals, 2 to 8 units of Warriors, 1 to 3 units of Tomb Blades. That's a part of it. They get +1. And then you add on...
Surely you have to have all of this.
I'm going to say no, because you wouldn't be able to fit it in a 1500 point game. At least 1 core choice.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you just need 1 core choice, which is that.
Must include 1 to 10 absolute choices. You must include up to
1 command choice. So an auxiliary could be a Citan, Flayed Ones, Death Marks, 2 to 4 Doom Scythes, an Obelisk, Annihilation Barges, Canoptic Spiders. That's huge. Necrons. They are strong. Very, very strong. I think they are the strongest 7th edition codex to come out. You have an army that that everything essentially in this army that isn't a vehicle has a 4-up or 5-up feel no pain roll. You have stats of a Space Marine, generally armor save of a Space Marine. They are masters at rapid fire weapons. Their armor value on their vehicles are 13 generally until you penetrate them. Then it goes down to an 11. They've got cheap points worth of units. It is a great army. It is a wonderfully great army. For newbies and veterans, you have legions and formations you can just have fun with. Many different HQs to do narrative campaigns. This is essentially, with that, the best codex in the entire game. For variety, for playstyle, competitive or friendly. The models look great. It just leaves a bitter taste in your mouth.
There's no challenge to it. Don't get me wrong, I like to win, but
if you
I
fall
like to
in
have
love
a
with
challenge.
if you fall in love with the models and you play the game it gives you a challenge to go face them, like to go against them, and you know you've got everything against you because of the many saves and excellent weaponry they have. It's a great codex, and it gives you lots of different options and a huge range of models, which you don't get.
The codex itself is fine. It's the playing of them. Some of them are alright. Like I said, the kinetic stuff, fine. Don't have a problem with that. It's just, like you said, you play them and you're just like, you don't feel, or I don't feel like I've actually achieved anything.
Are you saying you want a weaker codex? You would enjoy...
Not necessarily a weaker codex, but in comparison to the rest of the codexes.
Are you saying you would enjoy playing Orcs or Tau or Sisters of Battle?
More than I play...
More than Necron?
Yeah.
Okay. If you enjoy having the best army, this is great for someone who's not good at tactics. And if you're the type of person that wants to win games and lose friends, you could make a hell of a lot of different strong lists.
Like I said, don't get me wrong, there are some elements in there that I don't like the race. I quite enjoy the race, but the codex is so just okay. Compare it to any other codex.
let's compare it to some 7th edition Codex. Space Wolves and Grey Knights. I know them pretty well.
Okay, compare it to Space Wolves.
I declared that Space Wolves were the best Codex coming out in 7th edition. They had the best points to power ratio in each of the units. You've got a variety of different units to use. You've now got flyers with Space Wolves, the ability to go full close combat and drop pod assault, or the ability to sit back, sit and shoot, and have a very variety of playstyles for a Space Wolves player. The Necron Codex gives you that also, but I think it's a little bit better. Having the feel no pain element is huge. We're calling it feel no pain, but it's reanimation protocol. It's always been strong, but because you're doing it after you failed a wound, there's a chance of just always doing well. And the Grey Knights Codex wouldn't have a chance against this army. Tyranids have a hard time against vehicles. So what it's going to do against a giant obelisk, and just the mass rapid fire shooting that you've got. An Imperial Guard army, you have a squadron of Leman Rusts against a few warriors. How much is a Leman Rust off the top of your head? Do you know?
150 odd.
150 odd. Got a unit of warriors, 130 for 10 of them. You have 3 in a unit, so that's, you got say 50 warriors shooting now at your tanks again. 50 warriors versus 3 normal Leman Russes. The warriors are shooting Gorse Flare. It's 24-inch rapid fire, strength 4, AP5, Gorse, and Gorse means on a roll of a 6 you glance it. So you've got 50 shots, ballistic skill is 4, you're probably going to get around 30 to 33-ish shots through. Then you need 6s, statistically you're going to get 6-ish. 5 or 6. That's at least one of your tanks, 2 of your tanks. How many hull points? 3? Yeah. That's like 2 Leman Russ tanks down. But if the Leman Russ tanks went first, they're going to having to hit with their blasts. Then you get your reanimation protocol, which could be a 4-up anyway. So then you shoot back.
So let's put it a different way. Out of all the armies, who do you think stands a chance to take down Necrons?
Necrons.
So what's the point?
It does depend on what kind. If you go for a vehicle heavy, or if you go for a destroyer army, you go for a Canoptic army. But they are extremely tough. It's going to take an extremely gifted player with the foresight to know.
The force.
The force. The foresight to kind of know what they're going up against.
A few years ago, everybody was like, "Oh, Grey Knights are too overpowered and all this," and they were quite strong. But now you look at the Necrons and you're just like,
yeah, it's crazy. We watched the battle report last night. Mini Wargaming beat back Grey Knights versus Necrons, new Necrons.
and it was over by turn 2, pretty much.
Turn 2 or 3, all of the Grey Knights on the table had been destroyed, and all that was left was a couple of Storm Ravens with Terminators in. And by the end of turn 5, all that was left was a couple of Terminators and maybe one of the Storm Ravens, if that. That was a 1,500 point game. That means 1,200 points had been destroyed. and hardly any of the Necron force have been taken out. Demons. Just have mass demons.
That would be an interesting game.
They can't stop. They don't have a lot of things to stop psychic powers. I reckon a mass force demon army would be interesting. A few demon princes, some heralds spawning more and more demons, having the ability to spawn things that hopefully could take down vehicles. Yeah, you may have feel no pain, but I'm going to spawn another 10 corn crazy demon things and throw them into combat.
Okay, so it's you always say Warhammer 40k is a bit like rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
So could you put Necrons into a rock paper scissors?
They're dynamite.
No, they're fire. If you watched Friends like years ago, it was the one with the Thanksgiving, I think, where they're all late, and Monica and Chandler were in the apartment and the other four were outside, the door was locked, and they sent some turkey out. They're like, how are we going to decide? And they were like, well, we could play rock, paper, scissors. And Joey goes, well, they're fire. Fire beats everything. So I'd put them as fire. Because the only thing that could beat the fire was a water balloon. And the only thing that can beat Necrons, potentially, would be demons. That would stand a chance that you wouldn't go, I'm facing an uphill struggle to begin with. You turn up with any other army, you are facing an uphill struggle from the get-go.
Even if you had things like Imperial Knights, you've got Gorse things which can glance. Yeah?
Gorse, you've got the Scarabs, you've got Strength 10 weapons. You've got then the Tesseract Vault. Like you said, you can't really... The only thing with demons, how good are they at taking down vehicles?
Vehicles are extremely hard to take down.
So, even they would possibly struggle. Necrons are, I say, the top of the top.
Necrons, this is the best codex in Warhammer 40k right now. For the reasons we've said, you can have a variety of different armies. You can have it for narrative, you can have it for competitive, but it just leaves us thinking like, what?
It takes kind of the fun out of it.
Unless it was a game of where you use tactical cards and the Necron player got none of the right tactical cards.
Okay, what we'll do, maybe,
Is you have a look.
Have like 1,000 point Necrons list, and then a 2,000 point any other army. And see how the Necrons fare.
Okay. We can make that happen. What do you see with this codex that's amazing? What do you see that isn't amazing? And what do you see in the 40k universe that could take this codex down? That is the final thought, I think. We're going to have to ponder, I think. Quite a thick codex. 120 pages. I've been Mark from the Xenovis channel.
I've been Ian.
This has been a very interesting and long video ramble, but I hope you've stayed with us to the end so you can answer our question, how do you take down Necrons? Please comment, share, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on our next video.
Goodbye.